नमो अरिहंताणं
नमो अरिहंताणं
नमो सिद्धाणं
नमो सिद्धाणं
नमो आयरियाणं
नमो आयर्याणं
नमो वज्रायाणं
नमो वत्सायाणं
नमो लोय सवसाहुणं
नमो लोये सर्वसाहायं
ऐसो पंच नमोकारो
ऐसो पंचमुख
सवपावपणासनो मंगलानंच सौवेसिम
मंगलानि च सर्वेषु
पद्मं हवै मंगलम। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय। जय सच्चिदानंद। हे दादा भगवान, हे कनु दादाजी, you please remain present with us. Your constant presence, your constant nididhyasa be felt by us.
be felt by us.
Hey Dada Bhagavan,
Hey Dada Bhagavan,
bless us such that
bless us such that
we can do satsang swadhyay
we can do satsang
according to your inner intent.
according to your inner intent.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand to everybody. Lighter side. Let's come to lighter plane from the serious plane. Immediately we need to switch over. Okay, go ahead. Any questions or any experience to be shared? What was your experience in the morning session? Say loudly, I can't hear you.
Excellent.
Excellent.
It feels light.
Feel light, yeah? Everybody? Yeah. What must be the science behind that? Could you think the science, how does it work?
The ego get reduced.
So many things. So what happens is, when we prayed and we connected and the atmosphere becomes Shuddhatma, with that Shuddhatma vision, all these Parmanu, atoms and molecules which are always there, gets just cleared up or thrown away. So lot of burden goes away and we become free in very large respect of area. Actually there is a physical science that though our pure conscious ચિત્ત શુદ્ધ કરી આપ્યું દાદાએ થોડો પાર્ટ પણ બાકીનું જે છે that has been still get entangled into lot many conglomerates of Pudgal which are in terms of attachments, aversions or mistakes. By this lot of things go away and that chit becomes free and we become unburdened and we become, so many things happen. So actually so many times we feel that why there are difficulties in interaction, but that's not difficult, conscious difficulty. It's not in Shuddhatma's part. It's here that this machinery has the intricate interwoven system. So if we can deal with this machinery, which was one of the way was this, next time when you meet the person, nothing will happen. You'll be smiling. Because this Pudgal, which was doing the mischief, is cleared. You get my point? So this is how the Vitrag science works actually. And we feel so peaceful and light, right? Everybody's face. So likewise, each experiment of Vitrag is tremendous power. Tremendous power.
SaileshAnandji, how does this work when we do Pratikraman 1-to-1? આપણે કોઈને કહે કે આ ભાવ ગત ભાવ અનંતા ભાવમાંથી જે ભૂલચૂક થઈ હોય, we don't know what mistakes we did, right?
Forget it.
But when you ask for that, how does it work? Because it feels different after you say that and
Yes.
do it, but
Yes.
how does it work?
That's what I'm saying. When I see Shuddhatma in you, he asked the question that when I do Pratikraman for somebody, I grossly say okay, whatever mistakes I have done. Sometimes I even do not know all the mistakes. Then still how does it work? That's his question is. Still it works because when I'm doing suppose Pratikraman with you, it is the overall ties of this mass of Pudgal with your mass of Pudgal. It is not myself as well as not yourself. It is we attribute mindness, otherwise it is this mass. And when I do, I see I am Shuddhatma, I see Shuddhatma in you, and it's my pure vision that whatever is interwoven badly gets over. So the whole vision changes, whole attitude changes. I am looking at Shuddhatma, I am looking at the things કે તમારી Shuddhatma પ્રેમ પૂર્વક રહો, અને that clears so many unwanted ties which were going on between these two Pudgals, including attachments or aversions. So whether we understand, we do not understand. It is like a pill of a pharmacist goes. We do not know how does it work, but it does work, something. So that's why I so many times humorously say that you can understand a part of it. You have to, if you want to understand the exact details, you have to become pharmacist or a doctor. Similarly, you have to become a gnani, but then it does work. So the simple thing is, Shuddhatma's light is so powerful, it can clear any clutter of Pudgal. So this, for this time, we remained a Shuddhatma, we tried to see Shuddhatma in other people. Each one's egoism was not in play. Each one's intellect was not in play. So it was just Shuddhatma and clearing of the Pudgal. Am I right, Anand? So that's how it works. And it works so fast. With each person, we hardly spend a minute or sometimes even less than a minute. But still it makes wonders. So in 1 hour, we met so many people. And we could clear so much of the stuff. For the given time, it's really very fast. For the given time, we spent 1 hour in all. So many people. But that atmosphere doesn't get created very often. It has to be.
I have a second part to my to my question. Now, we did a gross statement that okay, મારી જે બી પહેલાની ભૂલો છે, forgive me. Now,
but some, that is, even though it is gross, suppose you are doing for your wife or you are doing for your mother, or you, then there is, grossly it comes on your screen okay, what type of relational ties I have, whether it is with aversion, whether it is with attachment, whether it is prominent dislike, whether it is prominent like, and that gets clear. May not be minute details, but grossly you see what is my relational tie with this person. Am I right? In that case.
Speaking of the atmosphere, even I did particular for relatives, people close to me that were not here, and I've done it in the past, but this time when I sat there and did it, I felt like I really did it. I felt much more clear.
But this is a very different atmosphere.
Yeah.
Here so much Dadaji's Krupa, prayer, Sangbad, everybody's Upyog plays a role. And you can't do this in this magnitude at home, no matter how sincerely you try.
Yeah, I wanted to keep going. It was too quickly ended for me.
I agree, but that's why I said I am lifting the time limit for this particular session. Means do it at your ease, whatever your heart says like. Anyway, good. But this is how we progress. I was fortunate to undergo this experiment in presence of Dada Bhagwan in the very first week of my receiving Vidan, 1977 at Aurangabad. So that taught me that how the thing go. Dada Bhagwan himself was present. And he sat and he said, હું મારી બધી શક્તિનો સ્રોત વાપરું છું ને તમને આજ્ઞા કરું છું. So it is his power which enables us to do the things, ઉપયોગનો power. એવી રીતે અહીં આપણે પ્રાર્થના કરીને શુદ્ધાત્માનું કરીને મૂક્યું. Then only we can be doing it more efficiently and more correctly. Okay. Now please.
So when I separated someone, I did this today, when I separated someone, separated a relative from real, then all of a sudden any issues that I had with them just dissipated, all of a sudden disappeared. So I was wondering what happens when you say that this person is relative? Why does that all of a sudden just...
So these are the beauties of the science. Did everybody understand what happened? It says as soon as I separate this is relative and this is real for any person, all the issues disappear. Why does it disappear? By saying just relative. So this is the beauty, because my vision changes from relative to real Shuddhatma. And no sooner my vision goes on to Shuddhatma, everything which was getting stuck to this Avastha Drashti starts getting dissipated. That's the beauty of this science, that no sooner you see relative and real Shuddhatma in somebody, many things clear up. Few things only remain after that, which you may need to clear in a sticky files. Otherwise, just you see relative real Shuddhatma, many things go away.
SaileshAnandji, because if you start seeing real and relative in a person, then તો તમારે બોલવાની જરૂર નહીં.
ના,
Because
એ વાત
then
સાચી, but
most-
always it
most-
may not happen. See, suppose, I'll give you a classical example. You have seen relative and real Shuddhatma in your wife. Then during the daytime you are interacting with your wife. Does nothing happens? Still something can happen, because it may not remain continuously with you as relative real Shuddhatma. Your discharge also comes up, her discharge also comes up, favorable or unfavorable, which will come in the way. But at least doing the Purusharth of seeing relative real helps a lot. No sooner you can see that, many things change. If you have heard yesterday, Nanda described something, that children were fighting or doing something, and you know how to handle the American children, or Canadian for that matter. So Nanda just was, asta, what the Dadaji says, everything disappears. So Dadaji for them was Shuddhatma, or something which was working, right? So this is how the things work, because at a relative level also it is just the belief-based atoms and molecules. So the correct light comes in and everything goes away. Dadaji used to give a classical example. Suppose the house owner is snoring, the thief will have all the time to steal. But no sooner he cups up, even though he sleep, the thief will understand, oh, he is awake, he will run away.
Could you explain that? You said that once we adjust to the real, then all the relative goes away. Could you explain that, please?
Sorry?
Could you explain what you just said about when you look at the soul, then the relative just naturally goes away?
What my perception and experience is, suppose I am seeing Ruchi. As long as I see only Ruchi, either my mind or Antaskaran will go with positive or negative things. Oh, Ruchi is good, or Ruchi is not sincere, whatever. But no sooner I see relative Ruchi and real Shuddhatma, the opinions and effects which were occurring in my Antaskaran due to seeing the relative just goes off, because now my vision is on Shuddhatma. So you experience this, that if you only see as it is, कि भाई आ रुचि છે કે આ પૂજા છે કે આ તૃપ્તિ છે, તો તરત જ કંઈક અસર ચાલુ થશે કે ડાઈ છે કે ગાંડી છે કે સિન્સિયર છે કે ઇનસિન્સિયર. But no sooner I see relative and real Shuddhatma, everything will go away. Because now I have been able to see Shuddhatma, એટલે એનું Shuddhatma જોઈને મારું Shuddhatma ખુલ્લું થઈ ગયું. Both the things happen. It's not only one way. No sooner I see Shuddhatma in Manan, my Shuddhatma becomes awakened. Or I get stabilized in my Shuddhatma also. It's a by-way procedure, by-way process.
So where do those opinions go?
Opinions relative inner self, Shailesh. But how long can it develop? As long as either I am not aware as a Shuddhatma, or as long as I am not seeing Shuddhatma in others. Most of the times, 80-90% of the things get cleared by seeing relative real Shuddhatma. 10% may remain whether sticky, where I have to work on it more. See, one take-home message from all these things is, try to compare whatever enjoyment, happiness you had been experiencing, feeling outside, by spending money, not spending money, whatever your belief is based, and try to compare this. And if you feel there's a difference, then keep in mind that these experiments, one or other, were worth doing. So that is what Dani says, that in the ocean of relative and affecting mind, body, speech, within and without, there is ocean within and ocean outside. If I have experienced, and if I keep on experiencing more and more, it will prompt, or it will strengthen my prajna to go back to my real self, keeping relative as it is. એટલે એમ કે રિલેટિવમાં મારું રિયલનું સુખ ચાખવાનું મને ગમે ખરું, એકવાર મને એક્સપિરિયન્સ થયા કરે તો ખ્યાલ આવ્યું શું કહેવા માગું છું. Otherwise there are n number of relative things outside as well as within also, in form of my interests and charitrammo and what not. Let it be there. એને કંઈ આપણે હાથ ઘાલવાનો નથી, પણ હું મારું સુખ વધારતો ચાલું તો દેટ્સ ગુડ ફોર મી. બરાબર છે ને? પૂજાને ખસેડવાની જ નથી આપણે આપણે શુદ્ધાત્માનું વધારે એ આપણને આઈસ્ક્રીમ સારો લાગ્યો તો વુડ યુ લાઈક ટુ હેવ ઇટ મોર. સો ધીસ ઇઝ શુદ્ધાત્માનું સુખ આપણને ગમવા મળે તો વાય નોટ ટુ હેવ ઇટ મોર. પણ એ શું છે, થોડો પુરુષાર્થ માગે છે. બિકોઝ ઇન આપણે જેવા રૂટીન લિવિંગમાં જઈએ ને એટલે વી આર having so much influence of mind, body, speech and all the relative things that we have to keep putting oil into the lamp to keep it burning.
What's Purusharth?
Purusharth is keeping separate relative and real. I am Shuddhatma is Purush. So Purusharth is to stay in 5 agnas, to keep mind, body, speech or Shailesh as separate and I am separate Shuddhatma. That's Purusharth part now. Yeah, sure.
So yesterday, Dr.SaileshAnandji brought up a satsang that I guess has happened before, but I'd never heard it. So if it's just short to recap a little bit, he was talking about Shuddhatma and Rina. So Rina and Shuddhatma are separate. So the karma that I call Rina's karma, he was saying that they're not Venus karma, they're a karma of some form past in the relative. So say in my last life my name was Shanti then, right? So when we say that we are suffering our karmas, it's not our karmas. It's definitely not Shuddhatmas, but it's also not Venas. They are the karmas of Shanti then that are coming forward. Okay, so yeah, I didn't understand because he was saying that they are independent. So they are Venas. They are Venas.
Of course.
And so the relative and the real are parallel. So whatever is happening in the relative path is a cleansing of the relative. You know, whether I was Shantaben or Rina Ben.
Doesn't matter.
Yes. And the other thing he was saying is that the Shuddhatma, the qualities of Shuddhatma has qualities and Rina has qualities. And he was giving the analogy of the mirror, where, the mirror is Shuddhatma, and whatever comes in front of it is an image, it's temporary, it moves on, another image comes. So the image that comes is the quality, so it has its own qualities, and the Shuddhatma has its own qualities. So, but because as the mirror or the image in front of the mirror changes, the qualities of Shuddhatma are somehow related. There's some connection between the qualities of whatever is in front of the Shuddhatma and Shuddhatma. So, did you understand what I was? Okay, so I wasn't trying because I'm confused. I don't know if I'm saying it all right. My question was how in that is what is the relationship between the qualities of Rina and the qualities of Shuddhatma?
Okay. So, I think touching upon your first part, that previously I was not Shailesh, that's not important or relevant. Whatever, I was there and I is now there. Now that I have got the vision that I am Shuddhatma, I can remain separate or try to remain as knower and seer. But when something had happened, I was into it. So when it is getting emptied out, the eye remains into it, but that is a discharging eye. So Kanu Dada says that Bharati Vakhete, when it was getting filled, I was there out of ignorance, and now when it is getting emptied out, that means you are passing through the effects of the karma, means charge atoms and molecules, pleasurable or painful. You also feel that it is happening to me or I, but that is a discharge eye, but it does remain there. So as an entity, I was there and I is there. Now the I, when it was getting filled in a state of ignorance, was I with my and I with doership. Now that I have the vision that I am Shuddhatma, I try to remain separate, but still discharge eyes into it, and it suffers pain or pleasure or whatever it is. So there is no point of saying it was not me and karmas are independent. No, 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 no. Now that I have separated as Shuddhatma, I can just try to remain as knower and seer. But because I was responsible when it was filled, while getting discharge, it appears as if it is touching the discharge eye. So just don't go into such intricacies. See that it is relative, it is file 1, I am Shuddhatma, and try to work it with it whenever required by Pratikraman, whenever required by something else. If it would have been independent, I would have put it aside easily, but it is not. It's not. But it is discharge, that much is true. Right? That's part 1. Part 2 is whatever I have known that I am pure soul self and my qualities are totally distinct and separate from the quality of Prakriti or the relative self. That is the knowledge I have acquired, that is the conviction I have got. Now it is to be experienced progressively more and more. I have little bit of experience that my qualities are different from the qualities of Prakriti, but not total. It is increasing slowly, slowly, slowly. But to understand what happens is, suppose this is a light, right? So there is a bulb and there is a light rays coming here. And bulb and light rays are in a way integral part of each other, right? Though the substance is different and the rays are different, but they are coming from the bulb. Now if I put my hand like this, the shadow will be different and light will take this shape, disperse like this. If I take out my hand, if I put the wristwatch like this, the light is same, but it will spread accordingly, the shadow will be accordingly. When I take everything, light will be just the light. Similarly, it is said that the pure self has 3 things: substantial matter, existential matter, that is known as dravya. Then innate properties, that is known as guna, guna dharma, and phases. Phases are like light. So if there is a apparent change happening in the part of phases, depending on the gneya and drashya of mind, body, speech, within or without. And it just takes the shape or just appears to be changing as the gneya drashya are changing, but ultimately by its own innate nature it doesn't change. This is a simple analogy. Nothing much to be dealt with it. Just know that I am Shuddhatma, I am separate, and Reena is file 1 and Reena's discharge is going on. And how can I help the discharge of Reena? And how can I remain unaffected and blissful as Shuddhatma? That's the bottom line, I would say. Right? Reena also can be helped in these karmas, because karmas per se can give only some suffering. It is how we remain during the discharge, how we take the karmas gives more suffering. So there are very many ways. You remaining a Shuddhatma, most of the karmas don't touch you. You say 3 mantra, you change your upyog into something else and karmas may not touch you. Previously somebody was telling you something, there was a lot of effects, now there is hardly minimal effects. So many effects of karmas are, even though they were charged, it just becomes very mild. Sometimes it can be totally gone, sometimes it can be profitable also. Initially it was giving the negative effects, now it can give the positive too. So this is how it's working. But what is karma after all? Karma is just atoms, conglomerates of atoms and molecules, which I had invited in the state of ignorance. Now they are giving effects and going back and becoming the pure atoms and molecules. It's only the charge part of atoms and molecules, now it is getting discharged. That's all.
Darshan, can you explain a little bit more in detail about Lok Sanya which you were saying?
स्नेहा क्या गई बोलती नहीं थी आज चुपचाप थी.
I asked him if he can speak a little bit more on Lok Sanya which you were saying.
लोक संज्ञा.
I just wanted to give opportunity to everybody to ask questions before I ask something.
Sorry.
No, yesterday after that satsang was over, she was telling me that you need to highlight little more because probably we are living the whole life by Lok Sanya. That was her remark, right? So well, Lok Sanya has a very large referral spectrum, I would say. But I just had narrated some brief few points that I am Shuddhatma and I should live with my own independent vision, whatever I have, in real as well as relative. Right? I know that what makes me happy, what is my necessity, what is not my necessity, or whatever it is, as far as the relative living of Shailesh is concerned, right? But most of the time what happens is, if the Shailesh gets influenced by what the people are thinking of him, what the people are saying of him, how he would be looked upon in the eyes of the other people, should I look with my own inner eyes, or should he be influenced by how the peoples are looking at him? What should be the correct thing? Ourselves. But what happens most of the times?
You're influenced by it.
We are influenced by, right? Some actor, hero, heroine, Bollywood, costly dress. The dress may not have any worth. People are wearing, I must have it. Top of the world. So this belief, only psychological belief associated, because people started saying, and people say, from this brand, from that brand may not have anything, because it's branded. You are wearing this, Wesley Jason, whatever, I don't know. Here are the names. But so many things go just by the fog indicators. So Gnani Purush used to say, that one ship goes after another, the third ship follows the footsteps of the ships. So the ships go by group, and lion never goes by group. He goes alone. So that was a simile Gnani Purush used to give, that when our mind and intellect tries to walk in groups, it's not to say that groups are wrong, don't take it that way. But just examine yourself, that is it because only just the group is doing that you want to follow the things? Are you afraid of being singled out? All these are Loksanya. And most of the times we go by Loksanya. Pila I5, my I3 to puro vapri nahi rewa jivu. I4 vapri nahi. I6 came in the market. I must have it. First 100, first 200. Status. So many things are driving us, and large part of our earning and dollars go for that. Is it Lok Sangya or is it my requirement? Is it? Because people value me. Dadaji says nobody puts your value. People are concerned with their own things. Nobody has time to look at anybody. And even if they just look and make some compliment, it's just on the surface level. They have nothing to do at their heart. Nobody is bothered to look at other people. They are having enough of stuff for their own.
What's the difference between that and keeping good relations with people?
Sorry,
What's the difference between that and keeping good relations?
I can't understand you.
What's the difference between? What is the difference between that and keeping good relations with people?
A lot of difference. Keeping good relation is totally different story. And following the people or imitating. Dadaji used to word imitate, nakal karo છે એમ કે છે. એટલે દાદાજી once made a statement કે નકલ કરવી હોય તો અક્કલવાળા નહીં કરજો. You are imitating the people who themselves are not happy. If you really want to imitate the જ્ઞાની પુરુષ who is happy in himself, તો અક્કલવાળા નહીં કરજો કે છે. આ બધું આપતાવાણીમાં ને વ્યવહાર બહુ સરસ છે, પણ તમે વાંચો તો નહીં યાર. વાંચતા જ નથી તો શું કરવાનું યાર? બે વાક્ય તો વાંચો જ ખરા અંદર. હોલ રિસર્ચ વિલ સ્ટાર્ટ વિથ ઇટ. મને તો આ બધું સેમિનારને આ ચોપડાઓ ખોપડામાં પડ્યો ને એટલે આ બધો બહુ ફાયદો થાય. એટલે આઈ હેપન ટુ રીડ એન્ડ આઈ હેપન ટુ પોન્ડર ઓવર ધ થિંગ્સ કે દાદાજી કહેવા શું માગે છે એમ ખ્યાલ આવ્યો કે નહીં. એટલે દાદાજીએ કીધું ચોખ્ખું કે મોટા ભાગના દુઃખો આ લોકોનું જોઈને થયેલા છે, કમ્પેરિઝન કરીને. અને લોકો શું વિચારશે ને લોકો શું કહેશે ને લોકો મારા માટે વોટ ધ અધર પીપલ્સ આર બિલીવિંગ અબાઉટ મી એન્ડ સમથિંગ એન્ડ વોટ નોટ. They are not really the unhappiness, they are not really the things. આપણે જોઈએ કેટલું? હા, તને જોઈએ તે લાવ ને, તારી પ્રકૃતિને જોઈતું હોય તે લાવ, પણ બી ઇન્ડિપેન્ડન્ટ ઇન યોર ચોઇસ કે નો, આઈ નીડ ઇટ, આઈ હેવ ધ passion for art, so I need good art craft papers. I had some patience for this. But why to compare and go by the indicators of the people, what the people are doing.
So
But isn't that what we have been doing?
That is what is
Because we
Lok
see
Sanya.
something and
That
then
is Lok Sanya. That's what she says. Ki our most of the life goes by Lok Sanya.
I think 100%.
Think over that. Now you are Shuddhatma. See in light of Shuddhatma and decide what should be the case. So Jnani Purush never lived by anybody's POC indicators.
So
These are known as POC indicators. In each walk, these are just some gross examples I gave you.
So how do we differentiate between?
We should not be ashamed as long as we are not stealing anything, we are not doing wrong to anything, wrong to anybody. Why should I be influenced or should be shameful or should be something what the other people are thinking of me?
Should we be mindful of when we make someone feel uncomfortable or something to that effect?
Sorry?
How do we differentiate between that and when we make someone feel uncomfortable or something to that
No, that's a different story. What you were saying, keeping relation is totally different story. Relation is what? If I make Ruchir happy, if I have good inclination and attitude that, okay, let my mind, body speak, make him happy or oblige or have harmony, that's a base of relation. Sometimes the relations are very shallow. I just see most of the relations in the world they are having what is my benefit into this? Am I getting some business? Am I getting something good out of this? Then I'll keep the relation, otherwise not. એટલે કે દાદા એને ઘાટવાળા રિલેશન કહે છે. શું કહે છે? એવરીબડી હેઝ વિધિન કે આ મને શું કામમાં લાગવાનો છે, કે મારું શું આમાં હિત છે કે નથી, આમ ફ્રોમ ધ મટીરિયલ પર્સપેક્ટિવ. વેર એઝ ધ ગુડ રિલેશન્સ કે ભાઈ હું એને શું કામમાં આવી શકું છું. દાદાજી હેડ ધીસ એંગલ કે what others can get benefited out of me. I don't want benefit from anybody. Dadaji had decided right in the childhood that whosoever meets me should get some benefit out of me. I should be able to offer some happiness. I should be able to offer some help to him. I don't want any benefit from him. And so basis of relation is totally different. It's not Lok Sanya. People don't care if you have iPhone, but if you have not harmonious relation or not good vision for each other, you are not making happy, they don't bother whether you have $1 million or not. Relations don't go by only the wealth or the things you have. No. It's a mutual how you are. Whether you are mutually having obligatory nature or from your side and love, share, care, whatever you say. Without money also you can have a lot of good relations. With scanty resources also you can have many good relations. Yes, some people may think that he do not have property, but that's okay. But still you can have a lot of good relations. So relation is a different story, I would say.
Shalishka, what is to know and to see is a function of Shuddhatma, right? Why is it that?
Why is it that?
Yeah.
If I ask you why the water has certain property and why the gold has certain property and why the other metal has certain property, what would be your answer?
I ask you.
It is just natural for that particular thing. It is just the natural for that particular thing. Right? It is just natural for sun to give light. It is just natural for water to be cool or flowing. It's just natural for ice to have its. So every element or object or phase has its own innate natural property. So Shuddhatma has the property because the very nature of the Shuddhatma existential